Yo, channel boxing here. Man, it's like 5 o'clock in the morning UK time. I'm completely knackered. I'm so tired. But I had to log in and make this video reaction to Linares versus Lomachenko. Listen, firstly, I want to say congrats to both fighters. Great performance by both fighters. I love chess matches and tactical bouts, technicians in the ring. The kind of fights where casuals don't know what they're watching, so they call it boring. I love those kind of fights. But with this one here, I was quite happy to see that, still technical, but there was a bit of there was a bit of there's a bit of spice in it. It was quite aggressive from both fighters, so something for the casuals to enjoy. But still, from the technical side, I loved what I was seeing. Lomachenko's footwork absolutely amazing. Linares made some good adjustments, and he started to time Lomachenko here and there because Lomachenko was moving back in straight line sometimes, and that's when he got clipped in the sixth round. But the fight went pretty much how I thought it would go. I put some money down on both fighters to be knocked down, so I won some money there. But I thought Lomachenko would stop Linares late. Not with the body shot. I actually just thought that it'd be Linares' sort of skin tissue. That he cut so easily. I just thought it would just be an accumulation and just like it'd be a bad cut, and eventually the corner or the ref would just say leave it as that. But great body shot by Lomachenko. Got to give him props and just say, listen, what a great fight. I just logged in online. I don't know what some of these guys are complaining about. Anyone who has an issue with any of the scorecards or the judges, I don't know what you are watching. You don't know boxing. Teddy Atlas, someone who I love so much in terms of his punditry, yeah, he was getting crazy at the judges' scorecards, excuse me. I don't know why. Absolutely, anyone who didn't think that that fight was close going into the 10th round, you do not know boxing. I think I had it 85 going into round 10. I scored the first round Linares. I gave everything from 2 to 5 to Lomachenko. Round 6, obviously 10-8 for Linares. I think I gave Linares round 7 as well. Lomachenko round 8, Linares round 9. So I think that's 85. Either ways, if you got it one round apiece, or even a draw, maybe 2 rounds at the most to Lomachenko, possibly, I could see that. But to me, listen, that was a close fight in terms of the scorecards and how you score a fight round by round. Going into that 10th round, that was close. And if you disagree with that, you don't know how to score a fight or score rounds. Simple as that. So I've got no issues on that front. Last thing I want to pick up on, I see a lot of fans online, raving about Lomachenko, saying that he's better than all of the greats, or he's close to comparing him to the greats and like Floyd and Oscar and all these other dudes. And I'm just like, listen, Lomachenko right now he's one of my favorites. He's one of everyone's favorites, as he should be. He's probably my top 2 pound for pound. But if you know boxing, you have to understand how a fighter's career is built, and by that I mean Lomachenko's a free-weight world champion in less than 15 fights. That's great. That's amazing. But part of that is also matchmaking. And by that I mean he's had 400 amateur fights. He's been to 2 Olympic Games, and obviously he's turned pro very, very late. So he's about 30 years old. What does that mean? That means that if he wants to become a legend of sport, he has to move up the ranks, move up the weights, move through championships, pretty quickly, because he hasn't got much time to do so. With that being said, if you look at his record of the fighters he's faced in those fights, so top of my head, I'm just thinking Rigondeaux, great fighter, but smaller man. Linares obviously was a great win. Mariaga, Sosa, Waters, Roman Martinez, Gary Russell Jr., good win. All of these guys are solid wins, and obviously, freeweight world champion out in less than 15 fights. But if I take Floyd, for example, Floyd Mayweather at super featherweight, at 130, are you telling me in Floyd's first 15 fights he couldn't beat all of those fighters I've just named? Of course he could. Oscar probably could have beat in his first 15, 20 fights all of those fighters I've just named. But obviously they turned pro at a younger age. So their first 15, 20 fights are going to be learning fights where they're fighting journeymen and they're building their resumes more, and then they move up the weight classes at a slower pace because they've got longer to stretch out the career, if that makes sense. So obviously, if I've got Lomachenko, he's 30 years old, and we need to sort of get him to a great status as soon as possible. Really, you're gonna matchmake him with obviously these fighters who are champions, fair enough, and he's gonna beat them, fair enough. But that doesn't mean that some of these other greats couldn't have done it in the same amount of time, is all I'm saying. They just didn't because obviously they were younger when they turned pro, so their career is going to be built differently. So part of it is Lomachenko's great, of course, but part of it is also his career is being built this way because it has to be built this way. So yes, he's world champion, 3 different weight classes in 11 fights. It doesn't mean that other fighters couldn't have done it. So with that being said, listen, Lomachenko is gonna be one of the greats. I hope he will be. I'm pretty sure he will be. But let's just let him become great, and then look back in 5 years or so and say, listen, Lomachenko was great. Let's not compare him to the greats now, because he's only had 11 fights and he hasn't done anything that other fighters can't do yet. I'm pretty sure that in 5 years' time we're gonna look back and say he was great, and I hope we will. I'm pretty sure we will. I would like to, because as I say, I like him. But let's just watch and not talk so much is my thing. This whole hype thing, when you don't know, when you're not, you don't actually know what you're watching. People are saying he's the greatest fighter ever and all of this stuff, and like, listen, just let him build, man. Let him build. But definitely my top two pound for pound. He was before the fight, he still is now. Um, I don't know, him and Crawford. They can probably first and second either way. I don't really mind, but yeah, just let him build and know what you're watching. Know that it's matchmaking. It's also his career being accelerated. It's a great achievement, but let's not compare him to some of the greats yet. Just let him become great. Is all I'm saying. But with that being said, yeah, man, just my thoughts on the fight. That was a great fight. And I know I haven't really posted in a while. I don't really post. I'm not really used to the whole YouTube thing. I don't really know if I should take it seriously or not, but if you like the video and comment below. And if you don't, then don't, which is fair enough. If the sound quality is bad, I apologize. It's just a little phone recording. But with that being said, I'm out.